everybody's so passionate about what we're creating and the stories that we are telling, and so it really does feel it's a teamwork, and it feels like family, which is rare. And
Uh-huh.
so that's the environment we're just all wanting to do a good job and tell the story as authentically as possible. And Taylor Sheridan, as busy as he is, makes the time to talk to all the actors. Hello,
Paulina, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just in cold, snowy Chicago.
Oh my gosh, Chicago.
Yeah.
Dang,
Where are
super
you
cold over there.
at?
I'm in San Antonio right now.
Okay, much warmer, I'm sure, and not covered in snow.
Not covered in snow, but we're getting a cold front
That's
soon.
right. Is
So
that a real thing? I've been hearing about this Texas like chill coming through.
yeah, like 2 weeks ago was super hot, and now it's really cold. Like I'm having to pull out a coat that
That's
I
something
never
you're not
use.
used to.
No, not at all.
Well, man, this world's crazy with weather right now, so
I
at least you're in
know.
a safe spot.
I am, thankfully.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited to get to talk to you. So I'm a new fan of the show. Me and my sister decided to like watch this together. So we started a week ago. We're only 2 episodes in right now. So still a lot more to come. But you guys are
Mhm.
wrapping up the season this week, right? I mean, oh
Yeah.
yeah, 17th, right? I think, or no, the 12th. 12th. It's coming up.
I don't even know what day I live in. Yes, the 12th.
Yeah, Sunday is this the end of it. Wow, comes quick. How fun has it been to have a show of this sort of critical acclaim and everyone talking about something you're getting used to hearing a lot about?
I'm still pinching myself. It doesn't feel real. Jacob's
Mm.
like telling me like, no, believe it. Believe it. You have to believe it. I know he went Christmas shopping and he told me that he was getting swarmed by people and he can't do things alone now because he'll just get stopped to ask for photos. I'm a homebody, so I haven't really gone out into the world, but the places that I have gone, well, there's a ceviche place that I absolutely love here in San Antonio, and I get ceviche a little bit too frequently from that place,
Uh-huh.
and they recognize me. But it's funny, people are just like, "Oh yeah, you look like that girl, the girl from Landman. Like you really look like the girl from Land." I'm like, "What? Oh, is it a good show?" And then they're like, "Oh, it's such a good show. You should watch. You really look like the girl from." And I'm just like, "Yeah, it's me." And they're like, "Nah, you're messing with me." And I'm like, "Okay."
What a way, right? I mean, people not believing it's you. That's, I mean, you can run with that both ways. I guess you can play up to it or just, let it be.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So the show was, I'm guessing it was filmed in Texas too, right? I mean, it seems very Texasy for me.
Yeah, it was shot in Fort Worth and surrounding areas.
Okay.
Very
So-
close to home, so I was able
yeah.
to come back and forth, and it was really lovely not having to be so far from home.
Yeah, being a Texas girl is it feels like home field, right? I mean, you're all these like big LA stars coming to sort of your turf, and your state in a sense. Was it comforting in a sense or familiar? Do you feel helped you being sort of localized?
Ooh, that's a great question. I mean, it obviously helps because we're telling a Texas story.
Yeah.
So it does help being in that environment. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool again not having to be so far from home and I think it's important to tell Texas stories and so it's cool that it happened to be a Taylor Sheridan show and about
Yeah.
the oil industry, which is not so talked about.
100%. And so important, right? In the scheme of everything that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's in everything that we do. It affects our lives on a daily. And so it's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Tell me about just sort of what is a Taylor Sheridan set like? I mean, that's something I've always been curious about. He made so many hit shows and all that, but what is the set sort of atmosphere, the vibe of it like on a day-to-day basis when you come to work?
Everybody's everybody's so passionate about what we're creating and the stories that we are telling, and so it really does feel it's a teamwork, and it feels like family, which is rare. And
Uh-huh.
so that's the environment we're just all wanting to do a good job and tell the story as authentically as possible. And Taylor Sheridan, as busy as he is, makes the time to talk to all the actors and discuss their characters
Oh
and
wow.
their arcs and all of that stuff. And if I had any questions about any scenes or my character in general, he was always a phone call away, which is refreshing and rare to get.
Oh, that's phenomenal that you get that sort of that close-knit relationship where you can really literally discuss your character. That's probably unheard of for a lot of different creators and showrunners and just sets in general to have that sort of access, especially to someone like that.
I know. I mean,
That's
he's a
amazing.
busy person, and
Yeah.
so it's. I mean, these projects, he's so passionate about them, and I mean, it makes sense for him to give the time that is needed for each
Mhm.
and every character for everybody. So it's again just amazing to be a part of.
So when it comes to, especially, I mean, sure you know the most about your character, but like when it comes to scripts, is this someone in him that lets you know in advance, where your character's headed to, in this season, or is it like episode to episode, you get the mystery reveal what's happening to you and what sort of script? Is it like tight-lipped sort of thing, or is it very open and you sort of know what's coming for you throughout the season and your character?
So I've worked on projects where I get the scripts on a weekly basis and not knowing anything of what's going to happen. They're very
Uh-huh.
keep it hush hush. Taylor, he sent me the first 5 episodes as soon as I booked
Wow.
the show, and then there was the strike, and so after the strike was lifted, then he sent me the remainder of the scripts, and I got to read the whole season, which is
Yeah.
incredible because you can kind of, again, and then having the discussions with him, but you as an actor can actually plan out how you're going to execute it instead of it being, oh, this week I'm doing this and then next week is a completely different thing, and I'm like, I could have, you know done something cool with it to arrive there at some point. And so with having the gift of already knowing what's going to happen, I can kind of plan out. Again, we want it to be very delicate with Ariana and Cooper's story, which you'll find out later as you watch.
I'm excited.
But we really wanted to tell this. Yeah, we really wanted to tell the story right and authentically, and so I think it's very important for us to have all the scripts so that we know what we need to do as actors and how we get from point A to point B.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that was really cool. I thought it was going to be really hush hush because I mean it's Taylor Sheridan and his
Yeah.
shows are and and just so much, but it makes sense as to why they are so good. And I want to say it's because the actors have that flexibility to know where their characters end up.
Oh, that's really, I was curious about this. This kind of surprised me actually finding that out. But hey, it makes sense, especially when it's so tight knit and later on, you have that
Mm-hmm.
relationship and shorthand with him that he would do that. So that's actually really cool to find out and for you too as an actor to be able to prepare in a
Yeah.
sense. It's like, hey, tomorrow you're getting the script. What?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
that's
know.
that's
Yeah, the
really
whole
good.
team, the whole team, they're all there to help you succeed in the story that you're telling. And so I
Hmm.
think
It does make
it
sense.
just makes sense.
Yeah, it does make
Mm-hmm.
sense. You
I mean,
play
we'll see
a young
how next
wife.
season is. If we get another season, I hope it's the same, but I
Yes.
don't know.
Well, I'm sure you're probably getting another season, it seems like, from
The fingers are crossed.
yeah. I'd bet on that, but yeah. I think that's happening and it should happen based on so far. It shows so compelling, and I'm just only a couple episodes in. I can see why everyone's sort of talking about it. You play a young
Mhm.
wife in
You're
this
you're
film.
still in for a journey. Sorry, say that again.
I'm like, you play a young wife in this movie, right? I mean, this show.
Yeah, yes, I play a widow,
Yeah.
which
And
is
what
a
was
widow
that
who
like? I
recently
mean, you're
spent.
young yourself, and it's like putting yourself in a sense of like, you know, being a young woman in on the show too, and playing. a wife, now a widow. I mean, that's a lot to kind of like handle, especially if, you know, in your personal, I don't know about your personal life, if you're married or anywhere close to it, but that's like, I'd say kind of a heavy thing to play and a character to take on. Because not only that, you're dealing with sort of grief and putting yourself in that mindset of someone that was lost someone in a relationship. You know, it's was that tough for you to kind of get to that ground?
I remember when I auditioned and saw that my character, I was like 20 at the time. And
Yeah,
so I
that's
saw that she was
young.
like a mother and a widow, and I was like, at the
I'm in
time, like I was on a
college, by
movie
the
set
way,
and
right? It's like, what?
I was in a movie set where I was playing a 16-year-old, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
okay. I'm like, I read the script and I absolutely was enthralled by it and loved the character so much. And I think I wanted it so badly, but I also in the back of my head, I was like, they're probably gonna give it to someone who's like 30. I don't know.
yeah.
And
You
so my surprise when I get the call that they wanted me for testing, and I was like, the one where she has a baby, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, Taylor Sheridan, okay, sign me up. And
uh-huh.
so I think what I mean, it's so easy. It's easy because I've been doing this for so long and training for so long,
Yeah.
and I obviously lived experiences. I know how what it's like to lose a person that you love, not a partner, God
Hmm.
forbid. But it's easy for me to tap into those emotions. And what helped me with the mother aspect is earlier that year that I was auditioning, my sister had her baby, her
Mm.
first baby, and so I became an auntie, and I was there. I was there. My mom and I were there, just helping as much as we could. We were on night shifts, handing her the baby because they eat every 2 hours. If you didn't
Uh-huh.
know, they eat every 2 hours. Like it's so much work, and so that kind of I think prepared me for the mother aspect of this role. And I remember my first day on set. I mean, I spoiler, I breastfeed in it, and so I'm
Uh-huh.
like calling my sister, and I'm like, you do this again? How do you make it look natural and not awkward? And so
Uh-huh.
I remember FaceTiming her, and she's like, no, you have to. And I'm just like, okay. And yeah, and I worked with one of the women who's in the show, who's also plays a widow.
Uh-huh.
uh she's actually a widow in real life, and so I was able
Really?
to just I didn't cry, but like she told me a little bit about her experience. She told
Yeah.
everybody about her experience and that, and so that kind of helped. And also
Wow.
I have a tia who lost her whole family, and so I was really young. I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and it's so interesting how I didn't really remember that at the
Mhm.
time, and then this show came up, and then like all the memories came back of how she was feeling at the time and just me observing everything as a child. And so that kind of helped me a little bit.
Wow, what a backstory there. I'm glad I asked that because I was curious about it too. Like you're young and like just as a filmmaker, you usually probably would lean with someone older, had maybe experience or something like that. But you were sort of prepared for it in a lot of ways based on your past and experiences and the irony of your sister having a baby too, that coming into play. And wow, it was almost sort of kind of
Yeah,
meant to be, it seems like, in all the ways that it came together.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's amazing. And are you still helping out with being, with your sister's baby or
She's actually gonna have another baby any day now, and so I'm
okay?
literally leaving tomorrow to go to her place. And round two.
You have experience this time around at least, right? You've done this, so you're ready for it.
Yeah, sure. But now she has a 2-year-old, about to be 2-year-old. So it's like, okay, how is that gonna work out? It's a lot. We don't know.
You
We're
know,
gonna go with the flow.
does it make you, I'm curious, does it make you want to have a baby now that you're kind of like, I'm good for now. I got this experience with my sister's kids, bringing one up, helping out, now potentially another one. Does it change your perspective on that for yourself?
Mm, no. I think seeing how much work that goes into raising a child, and
Hmm?
it I think especially a newborn, like it takes a village. Like I don't know how two people do it, let alone
Right.
one person. So mm, no. I also just don't have a maternal bone in my body, which is interesting that
Really?
I'm here talking about Ariana and she has a baby. I mean, I love animals. Those
Well,
are my
that
babies.
helps. That's a good start right there. A little bit easier
But
to take care of too, right?
I'm also like I'm so young, like
Yeah.
life still have so many years to actually think about it and whatnot.
100%, but it's interesting experience, a sort of real life experience, and I mean you can use it on screen too in a lot of ways. But yeah, I always wonder that too. I mean, I don't have any kids either, but I'm like, I don't know how these people do it. My friends do, and it's just like up all night and doing it. It's a commitment, especially the single parents out there, superheroes, for sure.
Seriously, seriously. And yeah, I, it's so much work and it's a huge responsibility. It's
Yeah.
not something, and I think people are realizing that now, at least our generation is, or it's just like it's not something to mess around with.
Yeah.
You really got to think about it if you want a kid because it's also
100%. Some
super.
people we've seen shouldn't have kids, and then it unfortunately spirals out of control, and it's a bad domino effect too. I think that's something to keep in mind too. It's like not everyone's destined to be a parent in a sense, or have kids or whatnot, or different points in their lives too. I think that's an important sort of lesson from to see,
Yeah,
and perspective to gain.
yeah, and it like I don't want to go so deep into this, but
I
like
know
my friend and
we
I were
got
talking.
into this, but
My friend and I were talking about this the other day and how she
yeah.
like read an article and her point of view was the people who are deciding not to have kids are probably the best people to have kids because we're so aware
Uh-huh.
of all of the possibilities
Great
that
point.
happen and know that it's a big responsibility, but at the same time it's like
Yeah. No, it's
no.
it's a real life thing for sure, So, do you have any pets, by the way? In that case,
I do. I have two cats and a dog. And yeah,
okay.
my cats are just yeah,
So you have a
they're my
little zoo. Do
babies.
you take care of them by yourself, or you get some help for all three of them?
Oh my gosh, my well, the dog is like my parents' dog, but
Okay. Yeah.
we all help out as much as we can. And I, because I'm out of town a lot, my dad
Right.
usually ends up taking. Um, but my cats are so sweet. I think there's a thing where people say cats are mean, but my cats are sweethearts. They are always wanting to cuddle.
Yeah, my mom's got a cat. I was over yesterday. I was watching this show. Ironically, I was watching this show, and the cat just jumped on me and flopped over and was snoring within a minute. So, and I was trapped. I had to watch the show. I couldn't even go to the kitchen get anything to eat because the cat was on me,
Oh,
and I'm watching Landman.
and it yeah, and when cats do that, you're just like, wow, they're so
Yeah.
cute. I don't want to do it
Yep.
again.
You hear the little purrs and snores, and it's like, yep, you do your thing. I'm just not gonna move here.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Are you still so the season obviously wrapped in that sense? What are you doing sort of in the in between? Are you working on anything else, or sort of taking a break after that?
Still auditioning and doing that. You know, have read a lot of scripts and there's some stuff in the works for the future. So that's exciting. And I'm getting ready to promote another film that I was in while I was auditioning for Landman. It's called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Road Trip.
Uh-huh.
And that one comes out in March on Disney Plus. So I'm going to start promoting that. And yeah, it's just exciting. I'm excited to see um, where it goes. And, you know, with everything going on in LA, though, I
Yeah.
don't know how everything's going to be. But, my heart goes out to everybody who had to evacuate and have lost their homes. It's absolutely devastating what's happening over there. So
It's a
I
bad
don't know.
situation. I mean, I have tons of friends out there, and I've lived there previously too. And yeah, it's just you don't know what. It's like we're in award season right now, and it's like that's not even being thought about right now, rightfully so, with what's going on out there. Yeah, it's a bad situation for so many people, and I was wondering too. Like, I mean, you're based in Texas and San Antonio out there. Did you ever plan on moving out to LA to sort of be closer to the industry, or you always wanted to sort of be back home based in that sense too? I mean, clearly there's opportunities to work too in this day and age, which is kind of amazing that you don't have to be in a sense in LA to work and get auditions. But what was your sort of outlook on where you want to be based?
Mm-hmm. luckily my team never required me to go out into LA my
Hmm.
whole career. I was always doing self tapes. And for me, I never felt the need to go to LA unless work took me over there.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, that's kind of my mindset now. Like I don't nobody has to really be there because it's all about self tapes, especially after COVID.
Yeah.
It's all online, and so I don't see myself moving to LA again, only there for work most of the time.
So Texas girl through and through and close to family. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's also important to keep yourself grounded in this industry.
100%. That
Mhm.
town can change people, and it's a whole different perspective. Like I said, we're now you said it in day and age where you can do these self tapes and sort of be based back home. And it's like, the one thing in LA, it's like a lot of people without families there moving out there, so it's like to be around family and be close to that. Not only are you grounded, but it's something you miss when you're not around them. So I think you're in a really good situation in that case.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. What do you like to do for fun? I'm curious, like any hobbies, activities when you're not working, that you like to pursue or you're passionate about?
I, I'm a I'm an old lady, so I love crocheting and
Okay.
and just arts and crafts and that kind of stuff. I started a little bit of pottery this year and this last year because now we're in the new
Uh-huh.
year. Um, that's fun. I just like anything that's creative. I like staying active as well, hikes, working out, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Wow. So does the creative thing, does it come to you? Do you something like, oh, I'm gonna try something new? Or like when it comes to crocheting or pottery, I mean, these are all like really interesting activities and definitely creative ones, but I can't imagine just like something you pick up immediately. Is that something you're just curious about and want to try, or something that you realize or find out that you're good at?
It's something that I'm curious about. I feel like I'm a fast learner, and so
Uh-huh.
with crocheting, I when I was really young, it was kind of a thing that you had to learn. And so my aunts, my grandma, my mom all taught me how to crochet, and I hated it at the beginning because I was terrible at it. And then I picked it up again when I was older, and I fell in love with it. It's really therapeutic and relaxing until you reach that one pattern that you just can't get, and you are a perfectionist and you need to do it right. That's me. But yeah, it just it's something I've always wanted to try, pottery, that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It's something that always intrigued me, and I met the right people to help me uh, just explore it, and they're open to teaching me, which is fun. I just want to learn as much as I can.
It's a great mindset. It's cool that you have these sort of things, outlets, because I feel like sometimes when you talk to actors, you're like, what is your interest? Like acting. What are you passionate about acting? It's like, no, no, you need to have a human life, a fully kind of well-rounded thing with different activities to bring that into your work, right? You can't be an actor 24/7. So I love hearing that sort of stuff that you have these other interests and hobbies and things to get away because you can't be an actor mode 24/7. It's just not healthy.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's. I get it though. In the beginning, I feel like I didn't do much because I was so enthralled with acting and working
Mm,
on the craft. So I totally get that in the beginning, but now um, it's just having that other outlets of creativity that will help, whether it's writing or crocheting or anything. It's fun to have those.
uh-huh.
Helps you chill when work is not coming anytime soon because that's this industry. You never know when the next job's
Great.
going to be.
Yeah, and you kind of got to have other outlets because if you're constantly waiting or thinking, when is the word going to come, you're going to go crazy, in that sense too. It's like keeping occupied is so important, especially in this industry.
Agreed.
Did
Mhm.
you? I didn't get to it. Maybe I'll see you later in the season. Any scenes with Billy Bob Thornton, or you got to meet him on set? I'm curious what he's like. I've always wondered. I mean, he just has that same kind of aura about him and everything I see, which I love.
Yes, I mean, you'll have to wait and see because you haven't seen it,
I
but
know.
yes, at the very
I'm
least,
excited to get to see
I
all
have
this
a really
stuff
good
too.
time with him. Yeah, yeah, get on with it.
I know. I'm 2 episodes. I'm waiting for my sister. Like she started. So she actually, funny enough, introduced told me about the show. I kind of heard about it. She's like, hey, I'm watching because she's always picking the TV shows, what to
Yeah.
start. Usually we watch reality TV together, like 90 Day Fiance or Bachelor
Yeah.
or something, you know what I mean, to discuss and have these sort of talks. And she's like, I'm starting Landman. I'm like, okay, I've heard about it. She's like, are you starting along with me? You're joining? I'm like, yeah, and so I saw the first episode and then watched the second one last night, and I'm like, okay, I have a lot to catch up on, and then I get to talk to you. So
But it's good. You waited and now you get to like kind of binge watch it.
yeah,
Get a
I'm not a
day.
binger.
Just
Are you a
get
binger though, by the way? Like you like to knock out a show in like 5, 6 episodes in one take or whatnot? What's your approach to streaming? Because I think that's an important question this day and age.
oh my goodness. I do. I'm a binge watcher. I want to know where the story goes and I need it now. And so it's very interesting because even with Landman it coming out weekly,
Yeah, I love that, by the
it's
way.
strange. It's amazing. It's so strange because I'm just like I just want to
It makes
watch
you
all of it.
wait,
I
but
want to know what happened.
it's the
Which
old
is like
school TV model. You know, when you watch like
yeah,
regular TV shows where you have to wait a week. Like I love that they do
yeah.
that about this one because like you would be tempted to knock it all out probably in one night.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I think it keeps the audience captivated and wanting more,
Hmm.
and waiting there at midnight on Saturday just to watch a new episode of Landman.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm here for it, but I also like Paramount. Can you send me all the episodes, please? Thank you, so that I know what happens. Even though I have the scripts, it's different seeing it all come to life and
Uh-huh.
how much people put into it, and it's beautiful watching it.
Did you ever watch the dailies on set or anything like that? Or you just kind of because you do the work, but then how much of it do you see until the show actually comes out, right? After it's edited and all sorts of things too.
Yeah, in the dark. I was in the dark.
Oh
I didn't
wow.
know, and so every time Jacob and I would go on set, we'd be like, "Are we doing our jobs? Because nobody's telling us no or otherwise." And so every day we were just like, "Are we? We're moving on." So I guess we did a good job. High five, friend.
Yeah.
Um, but but yeah, as we were shooting more and more of our scenes, um, yeah, producers would come up to us and be like, y'all stuff looks amazing. And so we were just like, oh, thank God. But as soon as we wrapped, I went back home and I think Jacob was still up there shooting.
Hmm.
And so we had a screening of the first two episodes and I was unable to go because of my schedule.
Hmm.
And so I had gotten like a text from Taylor and he's like, I wanna do a screening for just you and Jacob so that y'all can watch all of your scenes of the
Oh, that's
season.
cool.
And so that was really cool. Went over to his place and we we saw all of it, the raw edits. And so now seeing it fully edited and all of that, it's really cool. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
that is cool. Do you get to
Yeah.
like do you watch this with like family or by yourself? Like when it airs, like I'm curious, like people around you, like now that it's out and we have one more episode to go and 48 hours basically is going to be the finale that's going to be out. Like, how do you approach that sort of thing with your family? Do you gather around and watch it or individually everyone's watching? I'm curious about that.
I do watch it with my family,
Nice.
with my like, you know, covering my eyes and just like
Are you one
sneaking.
of those watchers that can't watch yourself, by the way? Or
Kind of, kind
uh,
of. But like after I watch it, I'm just like, it's not me up there. Does that make sense? Like it's
yeah,
not. It's easy
the
for me to
character.
disconnect from it. But when you're watching it with other people, they're just like staring at the TV and they're like, and I'm like, please don't look at me. Just watch the show. Don't look at me. So that's why I'm always like hiding.
Or they're like
Um,
clapping. It's Paulina. She made her appearance or whatnot, right?
so I'm always just like hiding or like scrolling on my phone when my scenes come up because I'm like, I don't wanna. I don't know.
I wonder what you were
It is
thinking when
weird,
that
but I'm.
breastfeeding scene came up too, with your family potentially watching that.
I mean, it's something that's so natural
Yeah.
and not that it, really the breastfeeding parts are not even they're not even a big deal. They're not a big deal. We don't show
No.
anything either. So it's just it is what it is and you'll see in the show, like it makes Cooper uncomfortable because he's not used to seeing that stuff. And I
Uh-huh.
think in our culture,
Yeah.
baby needs to eat. Yeah.
You do what you have to do, right? It's that sort of thing.
And if it
Well,
makes you uncomfortable, that's a you problem, not a woman's problem.
I think that's well said because it needs to be done, right? I mean, so who's
Yes.
feeding a baby, right? I mean, yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. That's so cool. Uh, I'm excited to see the rest of the show for sure. I don't know how much I don't allow myself to binge. I like to do like 1 to 2 episodes in a sitting max. I don't know if I can hold off on
Okay.
this, especially with the finale coming in a few days, but I'm
Yeah.
excited to see your arc and everyone else's arc on this show. It's a really phenomenal show. And
Thank you.
hopefully you get the word soon that you're getting an extension here because I can't imagine it ending after 10 episodes.
We'll see. We'll see. We're
Yeah,
still waiting to hear, but I'm optimistic for sure.
there you go. By the way, do you have a certain? I've been wondering, is that a pink or a purple outfit? Because you got the eyeshadow matching the shirt. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out, is it pink or are we talking like light purple here?
That's a great question. I want to say it's like a pink purple.
Yeah,
Yeah, pink
and you
purple
matched with the
jumpsuit.
eyeshadow. Well done there. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
like the look, just in general. Like you have a unique, great look with the curls and all that. Don't ever change, Paulina.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. This was a lot of fun. Excited to see more of you on the show. Like I said, I have a lot more to go, and this is cool. This is cool for your career too. And don't ever change in any way. I think the Texas girl is through and through in you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let's do this again. Hopefully there's a season two to
Yes.
talk about. Well, you have a show coming up in March too, so that's going to be exciting to talk about that
Mhm.
one too.
Yeah, for sure. It won't be the first time we talk. That's for sure.
Love it. All right. Take care and stay warm out there in Texas till this freeze
Thank
passes
you.
in the meantime.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure meeting you.
You too, Paulina. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.